Welcome to Triumph IAS. It's a daily mains practice question and answer series. This program is exclusively designed for UPSC CSE aspirants. In this video discussion, we will discuss UPSC CSE mains previous 25-year questions. Question number 1. In the context of diversity of India, can it be said that the regions form cultural units rather than the states? Give reasons with examples for your viewpoint. Let's start with the introduction of the answer. India is a land of diversity, distinct geographical features and varying climatic conditions, in combination with differential historical exposure divide India into distinct cultural regions. These cultural units are characterized by many factors like geography, climate, economy, dominant ethnic linguistic religious groups, etc. The main body of the answer should be Number 1. Northeast is a mixed cultural region wherein depending on the domination of Hindu, Christian and tribal population in a particular state their cuisine, family customs, dance and music varies. Meghalaya's Khasi and Garo tribes follow matrilineal law of inheritance while Nagaland and Manipur's Meitei families follow patriarchal culture. Number 2. These states are formed on ethno-linguistic lines. Culture differs within and across the state. Neither individual states nor entire region form a single block of uniform culture. Number 3. The culture of Western India transgresses state borders. To level the Western India as a geographical unit will be an oversimplification. Number 4. One can easily observe the Maharashtrian, Gujarati and Rajasthani culture in the respective states. Hence these regions form cultural units rather than states. Number 5. In the North India, Punjab and Haryana are two states forming individual cultural units. Similarly, the Eastern UP resembles more to the culture of Bihar than to the Western UP. Number 6. Majority of the southern states are formed on linguistic lines. Their culture differs within and across the states. Southern India as a region is not a single unit of culture. However, at the macro level, the individual states are worthy of claiming the status of cultural units. The conclusion of the answer is: to conclude, no region forms a single monolithic cultural unit in India. However, some states can claim the status of cultural units. Question number 2. Has the cadre-based civil services organization been the cause of slow change in India? Critically examine. Let's start with the introduction of the answer. There are multiple causes of slow socio-economic change in India, and the cadre-based civil services organization can be considered one among them. At present, the candidates qualifying for the LAS and IPS are allocated cadre states based on their examination ranks and preferences. Moving on to the main body of the answer. Number 1. Although the long-term posting in a region provided by the cadre-based civil services provides opportunity for its official to understand the work culture of the state and department, it has many disadvantages associated with it. Number 2. Long-term posting in the same region and department often becomes reason for lobbying, nepotism, favoritism, and corruption. Number 3. Cadre-based system limit the expertise of the civil servants. As they are limited to a particular state, they become parochial in their outlook. Number 4. According to the recommendations of the second arc, cadre-based generalists should be required to choose specialization after a period of 9 years. Hence, they fail to develop any expertise throughout their careers. Number 5. The cadre-based allocation has made lateral entries nearly impossible, thus reducing chances for recruitment of talent suitable to the position. Number 6. Because of the cadre-based services, civil servants often develop close linkages with the political class, and a nexus of bureaucrats and politicians emerges which militates against the developmental agenda as their focus gets shifted. Number 7. Recently, there have been voices raised for reforming the cadre-based allocation of civil servants. No doubt the steel frame of the Indian civil services has turned somewhat rusty and needs reform. However, the cadre-based allocation is among the least concerned aspects of the reform. The conclusion of the answer is: last few decades has witnessed significant changes in the citizens are governed and policies are framed and implemented. Modern governance requires specialized human resources, which is mainly concentrated in the private sector. In order to usher into the era of people-centric governance, talented personals from various sectors need to be pooled into civil services. Question number 3. Disaster preparedness is the first step in any disaster management process. Explain how hazard zonation mapping will help disaster mitigation in the case of landslides. Let's start with the introduction of the answer. Disaster preparedness refers to measures taken to prepare for and reduce the effects of disasters. That is, to predict and where possible prevent disasters, mitigate their impact on vulnerable populations, and respond to and effectively cope with their consequences at local, national, and international levels. The main body of the answer is: a comprehensive disaster preparedness strategy would therefore include the following elements. Number 1. Hazard, risk and vulnerability assessments. Number 2. Response mechanisms and strategies. Number 3. Preparedness plans. Number 4. Coordination. Number 5. Information management. Number 6. Early warning systems. Number 7. Resource mobilization. Number 8. Public education, training and AMP, drills and simulations. Number 9. Community-based disaster preparedness. Landslides are one of the natural hazards that affect at least 15% of the land area of our country, an area which exceeds 0.49 million km². Landslides of different types are frequent in geodynamically active domains in the Himalayan and Arakanayoma belt of the northeastern parts of the country, as well as in the relatively stable domains of the Meghalaya Plateau, Western Ghats and Nilgiri Hills. In all, 22 states and parts of the Union Territory of Puducherry and Andaman and Nicobar Islands are affected by this hazard. The phenomenon of landslides is pronounced during the monsoon period. Landslide hazard and risk assessment will be done through landslide hazard zonation mapping and geological and geotechnical investigation of vulnerable slopes and existing landslides. Building inventory databases has been considered an integral part of this exercise. We cannot stop disaster but minimize its impact by preparing ourselves better for landslides. The Government of India has made plans to identify the areas where landslides occur repeatedly. This is achieved through landslide hazard zonation (LHZ) maps, which shows or demarcates areas by different colors. Hazard zonation mapping involves: Number 1. Creation of landslide inventory. Number 2. Selecting scales for mapping depending upon end-user requirements. Number 3. Selecting landslide hazard zonation methodologies for different scales. Number 4. Multi-hazard integration, especially integrating seismic hazard. Number 5. Prioritization of areas for landslide hazard zonation mapping. Number 6. Landslide risk zonation.